Welcome to Craft Conversations, where I craft conversation. I talk a little bit about craft beer. I am your host, Brian Dales. And on this episode, we have Fleming Moore. He was on episode, I don't know. I didn't even look it up. I should have looked it up. I think he was on episode 18 or 19, I think we decided during the show today. So he's back. We did an episode. He had a gig, and we did an episode up at Homegrown Brew House. And Fleming Moore, he's just a great dude. He's a musician. He's a former teacher. He's been in some trouble a little bit, had a little bit of a bomb scare. He was the local bomber here in town briefly. And yeah, so listen to this episode and see what in the world I am talking about. Enjoy this episode. And we are live. How's it going, Fleming?
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's freaking late. That's all I know.
Yep.
I don't know why I agreed to this, but here we are.
Well, yes. That makes two of us.
Yeah. We just finished up a wonderful show here at Homegrown Brew House Thursday night. This is going to be Friday morning, right? If I put this together overnight, because it takes a little while to put things together, but we're talking 11:45 at night. Just finished up a great show, you and Tanner and
so it's still today.
Ron Gill.
It's still today. It's still today
For a few minutes.
Yeah.
A few more moments.
Yeah, Tanner and Ron and Mark Yampolsky from 40 Miles
Mark
East.
was here too. How could I forget Mark? He made a rare trip out here.
Oh, yeah.
He comes out every couple times a month, maybe, if that. Spends most of his time over in West Ashley, I think.
Correct. Yeah, he does. He's got a following here in Somerville, so he's a couple of venues in town. Where
does he play mostly? Here in town. I mean, Coastal Coffee Roasters, right?
Coastal, I think.
He's played here quite often.
Yeah, and he plays here.
That's
mainly, he's the brewery tour dude, you know. Holy City, Common House, and a lot of bow ties on James Island.
Right.
Yeah.
Seen him out there a couple times here recently. Fantastic. We were actually supposed to get together last Friday, and we never got back in touch with each other, so we were going to do it at the Craft Conversation studio, but we'll get with Mark eventually.
Yep. Sounds good.
I know he's wanting to get in here.
Yep.
And do some stuff. So what's been going on with you, man?
Well, changes. I'm ending the year unemployed, and you want to transition. Yeah, we could go into that. In fact, I'll share a little song with you about the whole thing at the end of the evening. Right. Yeah, but
I look forward to it.
No, it was. There's a time and a season and a place for everything, and I guess it was my time to go, and I'm glad to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, I didn't. Yeah, it's working out. Yeah. It's not ever good to be telling you're being let go, but. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it happens with everything, right? I mean, it's not just jobs. I mean, it's relationships. It's school. Let you go eventually.
Right.
Your girlfriend lets you go. Your guy friend, boyfriend, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of letting go in life.
All right, and it's the thing that I'm disappointed in myself about is that I kind of let it shake my faith in myself and what I'm capable. I don't know, the financial insecurity thing that I hadn't dealt with in a long time suddenly came rushing into my consciousness, which I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the number one problems with people, right? I mean, as far as suicides and things like that, or monetary type issues. Right.
I was just like, oh, wait a second now. I'm going to have to, things are going to be different, I was, but anyway, I've moved on, and I don't know. I think I'm not going to work for institutions anymore. I taught school, and I've always been kind of a rebellious guy, and don't work within institutions very well. And the church is an institution, and it's. I love the people in the church, but I get frustrated with the institution.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can agree with that, and everything you just said, really, not even just the church part, but
Right.
That's why I'm working here and why I'm trying to get this podcast going. I'm tired of working for institutions as well and abiding by all these rules that we're supposed to abide by and the rat race that is consumerism and what have you.
Right, and it's a church is even a more complex institution because I'm gonna get deep and philosophical with you now, but I don't make any bones about it. I'm a lover of Jesus, and I'm not the kind of guy that pushes anything on anybody. I respect any God that anybody worships if that's what they want to do. It's not up to me to do it, but churches, I think, are failing all over the place simply because Jesus never intended for his followers to be accumulating property, money, and it's kind of the antithesis of the model that he left us with to follow. Basically, he said go out 2 by 2. He didn't say go out and buy 200 acres of property.
Yeah.
And fight over it.
True. Yeah. I don't get into too many religious discussions, but
right.
Yes, I hear what you're saying for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's waters most people don't want to tread, but
it's not that I don't want to tread it. It's just that we probably believe some different things, but I don't know. It's just a discussion that gets talked about too much, I think, and there's a lot of other stuff that we need to talk about. But
right.
I think it takes up too much time.
I think when people talk about it, they find that they generally what I'm finding is a lot of times people are arguing over different sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
It's the same coin, but they're just looking at it from different perspectives, and they can't. One thing I've learned in my study of mathematics that I discovered that I didn't learn this at Somerville High School. The fine education they have in Dorchester too. Somehow I got out of school without learning about the inclusive or. The only thing I knew about was the exclusive or, meaning it's one or the other, but the inclusive or gives you the option of both things being true at the same time.
Right.
So I'm kind of the one way to believe that even though we might believe different things, we believe the same thing. You're just looking at the different side of the coin, and both of what we're saying is true.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
And that's why I'm not a crusader. I'm not a Bible thumper.
Yeah.
I'm just
I think that falls in line with I look into a lot of the Buddhism and Asian cultures and stuff like that, but the yin and yang of life, the up and down, the left and right. I mean, it's like you said, both sides of a different coin or the same coin.
Right.
So it's a yin and yang. It's a balance.
So that's all the religious talk we'll have for this evening. But we did talk.
We did talk.
We didn't avoid it.
Yeah, for sure. One day I'll have, if I do some research ahead of time and have all my ducks all lined up, maybe I'll have a discussion about that.
Yeah,
with somebody.
I'm no theologian. I'm just a hack guy.
Yeah.
That kind of, if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. Yeah.
Did we talk about your stint as a school teacher the last time you were on?
I
can't remember what episode.
Yeah.
7 or something or 8. You were.
I was like 19 or 23, something like that.
Was it that far up?
Yeah. So somewhere in there. But we might have. I was talking to somebody about that
but you graduated in Somerville, I guess, is what you just said.
Well, actually, I went to high school in Somerville. I didn't actually graduate because I got in a lot of trouble in high school. Believe that or not, I wasn't. I would get in trouble for cutting class and doing stuff like that, and was called to the principal's office. So I don't know why in the hell I thought it would be a good idea for me to teach school, but I did. And it seemed like I got called more into the office as a teacher than I did as students.
Well, what did make you decide that? I mean, you don't have a turning point that said, oh, I'm going to be a teacher.
Yeah, I did. I was the first time I had open heart surgery. And I was 28, and this is something I don't talk about much, but when I was 28, I had a stroke, and I could no longer but I had to have open heart surgery. But as a result of that stroke, I couldn't walk. I couldn't play guitar anymore. So it was like, boom, I had no muscle memory.
Okay, so you were playing that early on.
Yeah, I played from the time I was 12 till I was 28.
Okay.
And I had a stroke, and I couldn't play. And so I didn't pick up the guitar for 3 years. But during that time, I decided to go back to school and become a teacher. So I through that experience of having that stroke, I just turned my life around for the first time, and was able to go to college for the first time without having to worry about money.
Right.
Because the Social Security Disability Act, until I was able to get back to work, the government was paying me money that I'd paid into the Social Security system. So I was like, hey, I'm 28 years old, let me go to college. And I went to college and taught math for 7 years.
Right.
I got a degree in mathematics at the College of Charleston. So
was that always a strong suit? I mean, math?
Well, I was...
something. I mean, did the stroke change you at all? Did you have any different strengths as far as your mind after the stroke? Less or more? Or?
It was weird because all of a sudden I could draw.
Yeah.
Like my father
stuff like that.
My father was a really good artist and sculptor, but I suddenly could draw the likeness of people and portraits and stuff. And I was taking a lot of math at that time too. But the reason I chose math is because... And the English teachers out there, I apologize, but English is such a subjective course. In other words, if I don't write an essay to your liking, even though I might have a valid point and look at something in a perspective you've never even imagined, if it doesn't go along with what that English teacher wants to hear, you could get a B+ or even worse. And so I got tired of getting B+ in English. And in math, you're either right or wrong. There's no personality involved. It's completely objective.
Right.
And I figured, seeing how I piss a lot of people off, that even if I piss the math teachers off, that they give you what you get, Yeah. Whereas I didn't find that to be my experience with English teachers in high school. If they didn't like...
That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective.
Right. And it's human nature, I mean...
Yeah. But I can see the subjectivity of it. I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, math is finite. I mean, it's
completely objective. It's either right or wrong, and regardless. And I know for a fact, because I used to teach it, and you have little shits in your classroom, and they get everything right. They get it right. I mean, not little shits like I was in high school. Not that they're little shits. It might be a good reason I'm not teaching school anymore. But
so, how long did you do that?
7 years. I was at Estill High School 1 year and Berkeley High School for 6, I believe, that somewhere. From 95 to 2002.
Yeah. And did you carry that on into anything else? I mean, as far as teaching wise, I mean, did you always want to teach people stuff, or?
No, I was just. Turns out a lot of what teaching involves has very little to do with the subject matter. I mean, you go to a lot of courses like human growth and development, psychology courses, and until they throw you into that classroom on Friday at 7th period before homecoming with a bunch of 17-year-old guys that are taking 9th grade math because they failed 3 times. It's only baptism by fire that you learn how to teach people like that. And so a lot of the skills involved in teaching, and I admire teachers. They make 4,000 decisions in a day, whether it be, can Ricky get up to sharpen his pencil, to whether to send somebody to the office knowing that they're going to be suspended and kicked out of school. It's a tough job, but has very little. A lot of the skills don't involve the actual subject matter, even though I could teach the subject.
Right, it's more of a sociology experiment than
right. I could teach the subject matter, and believe it or not, there's still little things like that took me like 2 years to figure out. That in order to for people to behave, they have to be held accountable. And when you're dealing with 15, 16-year-old kids, and all those things I used to hate in school, like, oh, sit everybody in alphabetical order. at the beginning of the year. Well, there's a reason for that, because the only way you can hold the kids accountable is if you know their name. And when you got 35 kids in a classroom, then you got to learn their names really quick. And the quickest way to learn that is put them in alphabetical order. So it's the common sense things that I have no idea how to do. It took me a while to learn.
Yeah. So that wasn't like standard curriculum then. I mean, teachers figured that out on their own.
Yeah. Well, some teachers
maybe pass it on to you, and maybe they do.
Yeah. Some of them do. Yeah. Like I had a student teacher, and she, the things, I was, that was a whole different person back then than I am today. I was blind to my own ignorance and wouldn't take help from. But now in hindsight, you learn and you say, oh, okay, that's why that person does. It's like the old guy on the job is doing something a certain way, and when you're young and you're a new guy on the job, you're always looking for a different way, a better way, a quicker way, and it turns out the old man's got a reason for why he's doing that.
Right. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I can relate that to the military. It was always, that's just the way it's always been done,
Right.
And I'm like, I always question that myself. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't mean it's the best way to be done,
right?
Just because that's the way it's always been done. So there's definitely room for improvement, and things can change and evolve and grow. But sometimes things need to stay the same. So there has, again, that balance. You have to know when things are good the way they are and when things should evolve and get better.
Right.
But I don't know. Did you do music and stuff too while you were teaching, or you just gave that up altogether at that point?
Well, I started back with music when I started teaching. I didn't pick up the guitar for 3 years until I was about 31. After the stroke. And a good friend of mine, John Crookie, who's a talented musician, been with Crushed Tones, played all over Somerville back in the day. He took the time to play with me, which was very kind of him, because playing would be like, professional musician playing with somebody starting out all over again. I mean, my mind knew where to go, but my fingers wouldn't go where my mind was telling. So basically, it was just
the connection was lost.
It was repetition, little exercises like this. Yeah. At first, I couldn't touch my nose.
Right.
Definitely couldn't pass the sobriety test on the side of the road.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I mean, it's all electricity. It's all synapses. And
right.
If that connection's broken,
they had to find a new one. That's the cool thing about the brain. It's like
it'll make new connections.
It's like currents of rivers. I mean, it flows like a river. Yeah. Just like if a river had a dam in it, it would find another way to get to the ocean.
Right.
Around it.
Which goes into people that have not even had strokes. I mean, everybody can learn new things. It's just like you said, repetition.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was a different time, but it like you say, a different part of your brain. It made me focus on my right side a lot more for some reason. I don't know.
Now, do you feel like I don't know if you had much experience, before the stroke, but do you feel like you played better now, or you played better before? I mean, can you tell a difference?
Yeah, I think I play better now, because some of the best notes I play are the ones I don't. Well, because I was, as a young 28-year-old goofball, I thought I was capable of more than I really was, so I would be playing all over the place. Whereas when you know you're limited, your limitations, you're more tasteful about what you attempt. Get a simple.
Or you keep it simple. Yeah.
Keep it simple, and your rhythm gets better and everything.
That's how kids have survived all these years.
Yeah, well, some people. I think, and you see it with a lot of people when they're young. You just think more is better, and with music, less can be a whole lot more.
Right.
So it changed my focus. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, you look at sculptures and everything else, right? They whittle down the unessential into the essential. Right.
So that's. And John Crookie taught me the boom chicka boom of the bluegrass rhythm, the being able to play bass and guitar at the same time, kind of sort of thing going on.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I've heard, right? If you can play one, you can pretty much play the other. I mean, it's
Right,
all chords.
yeah, but like there's some. He taught me this cool little picking pattern where you rotate between the root note and another note in the chord. So you go boom, boom. You're going back and forth, boom, boom, while you're playing. You'll hear it in some of my songs. You'll hear, sometimes you really don't need a bass.
Yeah.
But I like having the bass. It fills the bottom end up.
Yeah.
Or down.
Now, is music your number one passion at this point in your life? Or, I mean, do you have other hobbies that you enjoy? What do you do outside of music, I guess is what I'm asking. I don't know. Because really, I've only ever seen you do this, music.
I do music. I have a small business that's my father left behind. That's a calibration business that I've pretty much kind of put it in other people's hands while I was working at St. Paul's. But now that that's gone, I'll focus back over there and at the beginning of the year. But I just want to write music and do the stuff I'm doing and see what happens, I don't need a whole lot.
Yeah.
It would help if I didn't, once my daughter graduates from college, it'll be that was my plan, to go full-time with music then, but...
Right. And where is she going?
The University of South Carolina. So now
You said you went to College Charleston?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to make a couple notes here so I don't forget some stuff that we're talking about. But,
that's all right.
because I don't have an intern or anybody else working for me, so I got to do all this
You're
stuff.
your own intern.
I got to do all this stuff myself, man. You know how it goes.
Yes. Ravelry Brewing. Do they still have music up top there?
I've never seen any music up top.
I haven't either. I've actually only seen it in the bottom one time.
The 2 or 3 times I've seen music over there, it's been in the bottom. I would think they've got to do something on the rooftop. I mean, it would be stupid not to. And maybe even have something up and down, I would think. At least that's what I would do if I owned the place,
Yeah.
Have maybe a little more flamingo type acoustic style thing going upstairs and maybe a plugged in downstairs.
I saw a 40-mile detour downstairs as well. The only time I've ever been there, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember who I've seen there. I've seen the Anns there, actually, when they were still together back in the day. Matter of fact, Slayton Johnson, he does the music for the show at the moment. So.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you got some contention with that, but...
No.
No?
No.
It was a vote. It was a vote.
Oh, you're talking about the intro thing?
Yeah, the intro and outro.
Oh, no.
But, I saw those guys there. Ravelry, I don't get down there that much. Everything downtown is it's too far, man.
Yeah.
They got the Edmonds Oast down there now, the Munkles down there, Fatty's, Tradesman. Ravelry, of course, has been down there for a while. Cooper River. There's a bunch of great breweries down there, but they're just too far of a drive. And then you got to drive back. That's the biggest problem,
Yeah. I see Uber in your future.
It's true.
I was thinking about starting my own transport service.
What's it going to be called?
Goober.
Goober.
Yeah. I'm your Goober driver.
Yeah. You think that'll take off?
I think I get it. See, I could probably get away with play a gig downtown. But then I got all my stuff packed up in the back, so that's the one part I haven't figured out. But it seems like it'd go good with gigging.
Yeah.
And get all the people home safely.
Yeah. I mean, if you could get some customers on the way down to the gig, that'll pay
Yeah.
your gas on the way down there, and then you get paid for the gig, and then you can take some people back home. And you're making double the money.
Double dipping. Goober. Look for it in 2019.
2019. You got some stuff. I mean, what are you talking about in 2019? You got some big plans.
No, well, we're hoping that they finish across the street. You can't see that over there, but no, I want to try to continue to establish some I've been really trying to establish a bona fide listening room.
Right. Well, let's backtrack for 1 second. We'll get to the listening room. What are you doing currently?
Currently?
I know you do here.
Oh, I do.
Where can people find Fleming Moore at the moment?
Well, where you can find me at www.flemingmore.com.
Right.
You can find me at Facebook at The Real Flemshady, Instagram Fleming Moore, Twitter Fleming Moore. Tomorrow night I'm at Bow Ties on James Island. That's December 28th. It would have been my father's 90th birthday. I just realized that. But I'll be there tomorrow night. But the next time I'm in Somerville playing with the guys in a band will be January 9th at Coastal Coffee Roasters. No, excuse me, January 12th. My bad, it's March 9th. It's January 12th at Coastal Coffee Roasters. And I got Acoustic Music Monday going on at Wine and Tapas from 6 to 9. And I've talking to you guys at Homegrown Brew House about trying to establish a bona fide listening room and kind of maybe get Bummerville Amphitheater and Craft Conversation to join forces and see if we can't
get... On Wednesday night you were talking.
Yeah, on Wednesday night, and then through that we've got Robert Lighthouse coming in February and Danielle Howe.
Danielle Howe, why does that name sound familiar?
Because Danielle is one of the greatest songwriters from Charleston. Well, she's not originally from Charleston. I believe she's from the PD area, maybe Lake City or somewhere out there. Yeah. Forgive me, Danielle, for not knowing exactly where you hail from. But she's from the PD area, I believe, of South Carolina. But she's a pretty infamous songwriter in South Carolina. Is nationally recognized, internationally toured. Howle.
Oh, that's not how to spell it.
Yeah, so she's agreed to do a house concert on March 16th. The exact location of that has not been established, but I'm looking for a place to have that, either be at my house or if maybe not somebody else's house, or maybe right here at Homegrown Brew House. Who knows?
Right.
But when we get closer to that. But Robert Lighthouse, I definitely, if we can pull it off, would like to bring him back there and do a little private show. And the reason I'd like to do the private show, these musicians I'm talking about, they travel and have to earn a living. So if you sell 20 tickets for $20 and they make $200, $400 in a night, that's really good. It helps them get on to where they need to go. So right. That's the whole idea behind Bummerville Amphitheater, was to empower musicians. So I'm still on that quest, and not me, but other musicians. You know, that's and the best way to empower people, I think, is with money, and let them make the decisions they need to make for their careers.
Yeah.
You know.
Who all's involved with Bummerville Amphitheater?
Right now? Yeah, just right now it's me. We're hanging on by a thread, but we're, Mark has been involved with it. But we need to have a board meeting and get that all straightened out and figure out what we're going to do with that. But things are happening in Somerville with the music scene, and I'm happy about that. When we started about 5 years ago, it was people, the opportunities that local musicians had were few and far between, and it was like a lot of people always saying, oh, we got a place, it would be good exposure. Yeah. Musicians always say, oh, you play here, it's good exposure. Well, that don't buy you new strings.
No. Yeah. Well, I wasn't here 5 years ago, but I know I guess around 4 years I've been here, I've seen it definitely grow, for sure. I mean, For sure, in the last couple of years, more so than the previous two before that. I think.
Right.
I think it's grown quite a bit. And you're at Honky Tonk Saloon too, right?
Every Thursday, yeah. But so what I'd like to do here on Wednesday is get the local musicians together and give them a little space in the listening room and have music out here for people and just
So on Wednesday, so
have people develop their skills. You know, mostly songwriters.
So there's some free people out here, and then you got maybe a pay-per-view type thing going in the back. Is that what you're...
Or no, if we did have a house concert. On Wednesdays, it'd just be a meet-up and play, but
Okay.
have a pick and
Just
pop.
out here.
Yeah, out here, and kind of like what we're doing with Acoustic Music Monday, and just bring it in here. I know that there's a group of really good pickers, mandolin players, and I'd like to get some of that going on, some different, something unique, some.
Yeah. You think there's a niche for that?
Yeah, there absolutely. I know, like, I don't know if you've heard of the Low Hills or not.
No.
Booney Bevins. Have you heard of Booney? She's a local
sounds
girl that's got an angel voice. But anyway, her father plays mandolin, and a buddy of mine, Ricky Harmon's a good bluegrass player. And it's some of the people that I used to pick with that maybe get them picking back there and have a more folksy kind of, there's enough. I love blues and everything, but maybe something to fit that niche.
Maybe once a month type thing?
Maybe. I don't know. I should be up to y'all. We'll figure that out. But we'll start off with just letting them know. I'd like some stand-up comedy, but I'm weird about stuff like that. I would like to see some have a Wednesday.
I've talked with many people. There's no comedy places in town. I mean,
yeah,
one or two joints, but
see if you had
nothing definitely in Somerville.
Yeah, they had a little listening room established back there. It could be stand-up, late-night stand-up or stand-up on Wednesdays. Have a different theme for a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Would be cool.
It would be. I mean, there's a lot more minds involved than just us two, obviously, but
right.
Stuff to think about and ponder.
Right.
But no, I'm down. I mean, I would love for Somerville to have a comedy spot, somewhere you could go to get some live local comedy acts, and even national,
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Roll through and just stop in for a 15-20 minute set or something,
Right.
A big name.
Absolutely. That's
I mean, it happens all the time on the West Coast. We need to make an East Coast.
Right.
And New York, places up north have some joints up there where people stop in, national acts and stuff. But yeah, it'd be nice to have something in Somerville, for sure. I don't know what the scene is.
Well,
how many local people?
You'd be some people would come out. I mean, you have Flowertown players right down the street here. I bet you there's at least 3 or 4 improv people there.
Yeah.
That could do it.
Yeah.
My wife actually would be great at it if I could get her to do it. But
really?
Yeah, I film. I could get in trouble. I videotape her on my phone, but she won't. She's smart. She's never been on Facebook. Will never go on Facebook. Has barely any cyber footprint at all in the world. She could be a spy. But if I ever put any of her stuff on Facebook, she'd kill me. So I don't do it out of respect. But anyway, she's funny as hell.
Really?
Yeah. I'll show you something after we're done to make you. Right. I think I could actually could start a YouTube channel that would go viral with her if she'd let me do it.
She won't?
No.
You've asked her?
No. I even tried to get her to come up here tonight, and she almost did, and then she backed out.
Oh, like to sing something, or?
No, just to come up and hang out with us, and because if you can ever get her to start talking, but she's just extremely shy.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I've known you guys, but I think I've heard maybe 6 words.
Right.
That's how I've known you guys?
Yeah, right. But she's once she gets talking, boy, it's something else.
Yeah. Well, that's something, I'm going to write that down, actually. Stand-up comedy. Not that I haven't thought about it before.
Right. Well, you the one that planted the seed in my head, and I won't let it go.
Stand-up comedy. All right. Well.
All right.
Let's talk about what I'm drinking here, I guess. People want to know sometimes, you know. I don't know. I'm drinking out of a Dogfish Head glass because I'm drinking a Dogfish Head beer. This is Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. I pulled it up here a second ago. Let me take a look. Bear with me here, Fleming.
Now, is Dogfish the name
Head.
of a brewery, and it has nothing to do with the shape of that glass? It's just Dogfish is engraved on that glass? Is that what you're trying to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a glass that they specifically designed, I believe. I believe this is Dogfish Head's design for a glass. I'm not positive on that. I might have to look it up, but I'm not going to do it today. But
okay,
this is a glass that they're well known for. It's an IPA glass I think they came up with.
Okay, well then maybe my intuition is on. It's got a unique shape, and it's a Dogfish
right
glass.
They're out of Milton, Delaware. Started in June 1995. They've been around for a long time. This 60-minute IPA is continuously hopped, more than 60 hop additions over a 60-minute boil, getting a vibe of where the name came from. 60-minute is brewed with a slew of great Northwest hops. A powerful but balanced East Coast IPA with a lot of citrusy hop character. It's the session beer for hardcore enthusiasts. And it's pretty damn tasty. It's got 6% alcohol, 60 IBUs, which are international bittering units. So that kind of tells you roughly how bitter the beer is going to be. It's got an average rating of 3.87. So it takes care of that. The craft conversation part of the craft.
So would you
You're drinking flat water over there.
would you consider yourself an hardcore enthusiast?
I don't think I consider myself hardcore enthusiast.
Isn't that what they said just there?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Hardcore enthusiast.
I would say enthusiast for sure, but I'm not hardcore. I don't get all bent out of shape about a lot of stuff that some of these hardcore guys get bent out of shape about.
Would you like to share some of your experiences with? You sure?
Yeah. I don't want to name any names. Caleb Taylor. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that. So, what is your favorite? Well, I mean, tell me this. You went up to. Since we've talked last, you've been to New York for something, right?
Yeah.
What did you do up there? I don't even remember what you went up there for. Something.
I had to catch the subway. No, no. I went up there to record a vinyl, a little. Through Reverb Nation, I entered a contest, and they invited me up there to the studio to cut some vinyl tracks, and so I did that.
Right.
For the experience, it was kind of a niche thing. I'd like to release a vinyl.
Was that a paid trip, or you had to?
Well, I had to pay my way there, but the studio time was free, and it was it was a way for them to make money, and I made money too. So I mean, the trip kind of paid for itself since I drove, but the deal was I sold some vinyl before I even got there, so they could pre-order it, send it out, and I had pre-orders for it, so I got 50% of all the revenue from the recordings I made, and so that more than paid for the gas, and I have like 8 free vinyls. It's kind of a unique thing because you're doing it live, so each track is this individual master, which means it's the one and only of its kind in the world. And so what I have those, and I'm going to eventually sell the 8 that I have, but I was going to get my wife and maybe Caleb Choir to do some paintings for each track that will go along with the vinyl and sell them at a premium, but I'm in no hurry for that. It's kind of like a bottle of wine. They're only going to get better,
right,
over time.
Very cool. And you say you just entered a contest.
Entered a contest, sent it off, and they said, after about 1,000, we had to make some really tough choices. Unfortunately, template letters. I got one that said, congratulations.
Yeah.
And so that was cool.
Very nice.
It was fun. It was kind of made me regret not just setting out in my 20s and having the courage to go out and do that, because I was hanging out in the village and saw what was the young people there from NYU hanging out, and anyway, I was like a fossil in the bar compared to those 20. But it was fun. It was kind of fun watching them, because they think they're all original and they're all this stuff, but every single girl had the same body language.
Yeah.
in the little clique that was going on there in the New York scene. So it was like, oh well.
Right.
But it was.
If you were to go back in time, and I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question here. Where would you go? Where would be your go-to to make it big?
I would go to the Village. I'd go to Village in New York, man.
Village, New York.
Yeah, Greenwich Village, right in that area, and break in there.
Okay.
I mean, that's
why there versus
because
Louisiana or Memphis or Nashville, or
because of the content of my stuff. I sing a lot about social injustice,
right,
and that tends to either offend people or they like it. And in this part of the country, it tends to offend more people than they like.
Yeah,
so
I've kind of witnessed that a little bit.
Yeah, it's like either they love it, but I don't let that. You got to play to the venue. I realize that, but every once in a while, I could always tell when somebody.
Yeah, you hate you have to do that, but you kind of do, don't you?
Yeah.
If you want to stay relevant and stay.
Right. Well, you got to play. It depends where you are, but typically you got to. You got to tend to
away with not doing it that way.
Yeah, you got to cater to the masses, and people tend to like what they've already heard. As we were talking about earlier, change is not what we like, and so when people hear things they haven't heard before, but sometimes a good melody and a hook line can overcome all that. But like tonight, what I was going to say, I'll play something political or jokingly or whatever, the song I was doing tonight, and somebody came up to me afterward and said, that song you did before you played the political song, I really liked it. That was their way of telling me they didn't like the political shit. So, yeah. But yeah, it's not harsh. It's just
Yeah, everything has its place for
right.
Sure. Like I said, there's very few people that have gotten away with always being against the grain, but there are some people that can pull it off and do it, and I think you do it pretty well.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I try. Right. Well, I don't. Look here, it's humanity above everything. Humanity above religion. Humanity definitely above politics. So regardless of what you believe, what God you worship, who you voted for president, you're a human being. And I'm called to love you. Yeah. I'm not called to like you. I'm called to love you. And there's, I can love you without liking you. I know how to detach and love people, man. I've had to do it. To escape my family life, I love my family, but I can't be around them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we're all here together. We're not going anywhere. Right. We might as well get along, or at least try to.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense not to.
And what's funny is this little town here, though, we're getting ready to get it going again. I can tell you right now for 2019. That's what's happening in 2019. The mayor race.
Yeah. I at one time thought about putting my hat in that race, but I wouldn't dare do it right now.
Well, if I just could find a few backers, Flemshady would run for mayor. And I promise you one thing, I'd fix the time. No more daylight saving time in the town of Somerville. So if you want me for your mayor and you don't like daylight savings time, then vote for me. Write me in.
Yeah, I'll be down with that.
Yeah. We're going to fix the time.
Yeah.
No, I think if one more person entered the race.
How many people are in it now?
3. So if we get one more person in the mayor race, and basically, if we had a mayor like Mayor Berlin G. Myers, the only time he really got involved in it is when he had to break the tie. So if we had, and that's the way it's set up now with the council form of government, the referendum they voted on. So basically, you need a King Solomon up there that can break the tie. So I could do that. Really don't have to know anything. Find somebody who could write a good budget for the town, and whenever they can't agree on it, it would say a 4-4 tie or whatever it is. The mayor comes in and breaks the tie. Otherwise, he doesn't. I have no agenda other than I want to fix daylight savings time. So I'm the perfect guy. I'm not. I don't have any development.
No roads or anything.
No development.
No infrastructure.
No, I'm all for that. I'm just saying I have no agenda as far as development's concerned. Right. So write me in, Flemshady for mayor.
All right. We'll start a petition.
Yeah. And when's the last time you can go to file to be mayor?
I have no idea.
I wonder if it'd help my musical career if I ran for mayor.
It wouldn't hurt.
Oh, you know what the day is the anniversary of? It was 5 years ago today that I left my harmonica case in Hutchison Square, and they shut down the whole town for a bomb scare.
Because of a harmonica case.
Yeah, I left my harmonica case right across the street. Some lady saw a guitar string hanging out of it, mistake it for a wire, went to the fire department. Governor Haley at the time was informed. They brought the sled bomb unit down, shut the whole square down. I woke up in the morning to Facebook's, Fleming, are you missing something? And it was like, I had no idea they'd shut the whole 3 blocks around this place, the square down, and in the paper. I'll send you the link. It was like
publicity on it?
It made the front page of this journal scene. my harmonica case did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post.
You're still leaving harmonicas all over the place. I got 2 of them over here.
Well, so I'll send you the link on I'll post that on Facebook. It was one of my memories this morning. It was
wow.
5 years. It's called Bomb Scare. It was the headline in the Somerville Sun. This is the Bomb Scare episode.
Yeah.
But
That's a good one. Yeah.
It was funny. It was like, what was even worse about it is I had to go back and claim my harmonica case from the police. Right. And that was the scary part because they almost didn't let me out there for a while. I went to go get it.
You've got 3 warrants on you.
Well, I wasn't worried about that part. I was worried about, like they thought I did it on purpose, and I said no, I said those.
Were you just out performing in the square?
We were picking with bluegrass people.
Yeah.
And I set it down by the bench and forgot about it. And some kid and her mom were walking through there, and I said, oh. Yeah. And they called the fire department over, and that was when they.
It's amazing.
Well, the good thing was, ever since then, since all those police guys got paid overtime, probably cost the town $10,000. Mm-hmm. No, I don't saying it did, but they got to use their toys. I mean, they got to drill. It's a bomb. They probably took advantage of it and used it as a training opportunity. Yeah. So, there's good in everything if you look for it.
Yeah. There's always a silver lining.
Right.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're about 50 minutes in. I think we should maybe take a pause real quick.
Right.
Set up and play a couple tunes.
Sure. Sounds good to me.
We'll do it. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, and cisgender and all the other pronouns, whatever's going on out there. All right, and we're back, guys. So we're gonna have Mr. Fleming Moore sing a couple tunes for us. A couple?
Whatever.
All right, we'll do a couple things, and yeah, enjoy this.
The bishop wears a mitre, professing his authority. He lives high on the hog, in the lap of luxury. His priests swear an oath to follow him wherever he leads. He walks with a rod and a staff, but they don't comfort me. God forgive him, he knows not what he's done. Ignorance is blissful and the devil's in everyone. God forgive him, he knows not what he's done. It's just the scales in his eyes that are blocking out the sun. High up in the pulpit, the priest looks down on his flock. He's preaching from his Bible, brother, he talks the talk. With his collar and his cassock, he's dressing the part. God knows if it's the money or love ruling his heart. God forgive him, he knows not what he's done. Ignorance is blissful and the devil's in everyone. God forgive him, he knows not what he's done. It's just the scales in his eyes that are blocking out the sun. Early in the morning, the sexton unlocks the church door. He helps bury the dead, brother, he mops the floors. Out in the graveyard, he labors alone, where his heart grows weary, hard and cold among the tombstones. God forgive him, he knows not what he's done. Ignorance is blissful and the devil's in everyone. God forgive him, he knows not what he's done. It's just the scales in his eyes that are blocking out the sun. Neath the shadow of the steeple, an obelisk is standing tall. It's a monument to men who fought and died in the Civil War. No words of repentance or mention of slavery. An abomination of man, whitewashing their history. God forgive them, he knows not what they've done. Ignorance is blissful and the devil's in everyone. God forgive them, they know not what they've done. It's the scales in their eyes that are blocking out the sun. It's the scales in their eyes that are blocking out the sun.
All right. Very nice. Very nice.
All right. See something here.
What was the name of that one again?
Blocking out the sun.
Blocking out the sun?
Blocking out the sun.
Blocking out the sun. Gotcha.
Blocking out, not seeing the sunshine.
I'm going to switch cameras here. I'm not trusting this other camera at the moment, so switch it up. You're going to do one more for us, right?
Yeah, I'll do one more. This one's called Walk by Faith.
Walk by Faith. Fleming Moore.
The river is dark, deep and wide. Somehow I've gotta make it to the other side. The road's been rough, it's deep, it winds through the hills and valleys of the mountains we climb. The mystery of life is written in the stars. It's on the palm of our hands. It's in our hearts. I hear my mother telling me, walk by faith, not by what we see. I work a job, I earn a wage. I toil in the soil, I mark the graves of the dearly departed who've gone their way, in the hope of being raised on the last day. The mystery of life is written in the stars. It's on the palm of our hands. It's in our hearts. I hear my mother telling me, walk by faith, not by what you see. In the valley of the shadow of a setting sun, I'll be shrouded in darkness when that hour comes. Still in the dark, asleep in the night, in the hope of rising in the morning light. The mystery of life is written in the stars. It's on the palm of our hands. It's in our hearts. I hear my mother telling me, walk by faith, not by what you see. Walk by faith, not by what you see.
man.
All right.
Fantastic.
Groovy.
I loved it. We got no video here at the end, but that's all right.
That's okay.
So it's been fun, man.
All right, thanks.
We're about an hour in.
Yeah, it's about
It's about time to wrap up, man.
it's about time.
It's a late night.
It sure has been a late
It's
day.
been a late night. I
Oh, yeah.
appreciate you doing this. We're at Homegrown Brew House, 117 South Main Street.
Your connection for local live music in Somerville. Homegrown in 2019.
You got it.
Yeah, man.
Fleming, I appreciate your time.
Drink local, listen local, vote for Flemshady mayor.
Exactly. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.